Star Wars Squadrons
is a first-person single and multiplayer arcade space simulator.
The story is Star Wars. Well, you play both the Republic and the Empire in alternating scenarios. The Republic apparently has plans to build a very giant secret weapon, and the Empire, of course, wants to stop them. And you actually get to play the Republic and the Empire in alternating scenarios. The single-player campaigns last 7 to maybe 10 hours, depending on how you play and the difficulty setting you use, stretched over 14 different chapters.
And then there's a multiplayer that is equally big, even though there are only 2 modes, and that is 5 versus 5 dogfights, which is basically a team deathmatch where you kill each other. And then there's a monumental fleet battles that is a bit more deep, because you destroyed fleet defenses and then the flagship, and hopefully sooner than the other team will do the same. So it's big battles, not only with real players, but could be combined with AI ships as well.
We should also mention that this game plays very well in VR. We don't talk about VR very much on our channel, but this seems like the perfect example of a VR game, because you're not walking around. In full VR, you're actually steering the ship around. We haven't been able to try it, but from what we've heard, it is a really thrilling experience.
So you might be wondering, what is the difference between Star Wars Squadron and Star Wars Battlefront 2, which offers both multiplayer dogfights and underground as well?
One of the big differences is how you can change the power balance in your ships in Star Wars Squadrons. You can, with the push of a button, adjust more power towards your lasers or towards your shields in certain ships, or your speed, which makes the dogfights really interesting to emphasize maybe speeding away and then spinning around and quickly putting all power towards the lasers to be able to blast your enemies away. This is, once you master it, quite satisfying.
Another difference is definitely the fleet battles mode, more variety of locations, or customizing your ships to your needs.
This should give you a sense of what the game has to offer, and that brings us to...
should you play it?
But first, you should know that this game is going to be completely free to claim and keep forever from the Epic Games Store the week starting November 24th, 2022. Add it to your library, keep it forever. And that is what we do on this channel. We play and review every free game from the Epic Games Store, so you never have to be bored with bad games ever again.
So I really like how you can easily pick up the game and start playing it. It is a simulator as well. It is arcadey enough, so it's not too hard to control. We tried it on both mouse and keyboard for Caleb and me for gamepad. It worked well for both, and I really enjoyed my time in there. And I would really recommend it to people who like space simulators, because I felt a nostalgia about the first X-Wing and T-Fighter. It is very similar, only better graphic, great sound, and everything that you like about Star Wars.
And I've always been hesitant about trying this game because I really like Battlefront 2 much more than I expected. I played much more than I expected. My least favorite part of that game was the ship fighting. And this game is entirely that, and because I'm never been a big fan of dogfighting or flight combat games, that kind of thing. Now, what you said is correct, is it's very easy to control and it's very easy to start, and I think this mechanic of being able to quickly change the balance of power adds a really interesting element to the gameplay that did make it more user-friendly and easy to start right away. I really appreciated that. I think mainly because I'm a fan of Star Wars and the universe, that this made it interesting to play through the single-player story, but I wouldn't spend a lot of time on the multiplayer version. So if you're not a big fan of dogfighting games, you're probably not going to get a lot out of it. But since it's free, it is definitely still worth it to play the single-player campaign. It's short, the visuals are great, the characters are not very deep, but it's interesting, and it plays really smoothly and is just kind of entertaining, not really frustrating and challenging like I was afraid of. So, since it's free especially, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. That yes, you should try it.
And I definitely agree that for some people, Star Wars Battlefront 2 might be a lot better, since it's more variety, more content. So you should definitely check our review of it next. And may the Force be with you. That's Star Trek!